What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the GYO piano course. My name is Cilantro. Today, in lesson 4, we're going to be talking about chords. What are chords? So, last time we talked about scales as sort of roads or pathways. I called them ways of motion up and down the keyboard. You can take different routes to get to your destination, right? And scales are all these different types of routes you can take. That's one way to think about it. Chords are, if we think in a similarly architectural kind of way, kind of like, you know how you have major roads running through cities and sort of major crossroads at the intersections of different roads. And in between, say, a couple different major crossroads, you might have a neighborhood, right? Chords are kind of like those nodes that create a sort of neighborhood through which different roads could pass. So we can play one chord, 3 notes, and play a bunch of different scales. We could just start on different notes. We can play actually different scales. We could do a lot of different things with one chord. Yeah, thinking about them in that way, we're basically going to learn a couple rules to deduce or extract chords from scales today. That's the goal. So last time we talked about, for simplicity's sake, we'll just talk about the C major. Hello? Settle down there. Chord's wigging out. Sorry, guys. Come on. Okay, so we have, as we recall, at least 7 notes there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Before we get back to the repeated note, and that's our 2-2-1-2-2-2-1 major scale pattern. We'll start that on any note, anyone. I'm going to pick B flat, which is the top key of the 3 black keys, and I'm going to go 2 up, 2 up, 1 up, 2 up, 2 up, 2 up, 1 up. Cool. So we have 7 notes before we get to the repeated note, the same B flat. One of the numbering systems we can use, there's a lot of different numbering systems. I know I've thrown a lot of numbers at you, but this is one that's going to be very important for you. I'd say this is the primary one that you're going to hold on to as a numbering system and use throughout your jamming and or playing career. And that is, you just take the first note of the scale, whatever scale you're playing, and that is the 1. That is the home, the root base. That's your starting point of your road. And then next comes the 2, the 3, the 4, the 5, the 6, the 7, and the 1 again. We'll get into later, you have 9s and 13s and extensions and all that sort of thing. But for now, just think there's 7 notes before I get to the repeated note, and that constitutes a scale. Again, could be 5 notes. Certain Japanese scales or Indian scales might have between 4 and who knows how many notes. There's quarter tones. Don't take this as the gospel final truth, but this is in Western harmony. We generally have sort of 7-note scales. Now, what do we do to make a chord out of that? So, chords are often just 3 notes, and the most simple way I could put it is just skip a note and don't play. Just start on the 1, skip a note, play the 3, start on skip another note, the 4, play the 5, and then you have 1, 3, 5. The first degree of the scale, the first note of the scale, the 3rd note of the scale, and the 5th note of the scale. So instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I have 1, 3, 5. Okay, that is a real basic chord. You've heard that everywhere. If I play those 3 simultaneously, I'm playing a chord. So, with my left hand, I'll just play those 3 notes and then play a scale with my right hand. This is something you're going to do all the time if you're playing jazz or anything like that. Okay, so that's what a chord is. End of story. Peace. No, just kidding. real quick, let me go into a couple elaborations, but that's essentially what we're going to be doing. You could then make a chord out of the second note, the fourth note, and the sixth note of the scale, or the third, fifth, and the seventh note of the scale, etc. You can make any kind of combination. I'd start out with just skipping one note and just playing the next. So if you're doing, say, A minor scale, and remember A is right below that B flat, right below the top of the three black keys. Okay, so I'm going to go skip one, skip another one. We got a nice little minor chord there. Beautiful. Now I can do that with both hands and play the same chord with both hands. Awesome. Okay, so what we have there is known as a triad. Triad simply means it's got three notes. We made a chord. We've got our three sort of major intersections, and then with that, that's our first chord we played, a B flat major. Our second chord we played, an A minor. Just those two chords, I could already make a song. So I'm going to put the one, the first note of the scale, in the bass. It's my left hand. I know it looks reversed here on the camera, but my left hand. This is the lower side of the keyboard. I'm going to press that top one of the three black keys here, the B flat, and play the chord at the same time. Now we've got a bass note, just like if we had a bass player with us, and the chord sitting on top of the bass note. Awesome. That is already a huge accomplishment. So take a moment rather, take a look below if you'd like. I will put some kind of chord charts, things that give you basic, I'd say crutches to lean on. Try not to lean on them too much. Try to just use your mind if you can, and remember that 2 1 2 2 1 2 2 for minors, 2 2 1 2 2 2 1 for majors, and then skip a note, play that note and the starting note at the same time, skip another note from the second note, play all three of those at the same time, and you've got a chord. So I'll just go up, let's see, let's go back to our C because it's really easy to see that. Below the two black notes, that first white key, that's our C. If we just play all white keys, got a major scale. Now let's go 1, skip the 2, 3, skip the 4, 5. I've got both hands going. You don't have to start off with both hands, but the more you can be ambidextrous from the beginning, the better. So I really suggest you practice all of these scales and chords with both hands from the jump. And if you do that, you're going to be heads above anyone who's kind of got lazy and just did what was comfortable, say only play with the right hand if they're right dominant or whatever. Yeah, piano is much funner if you're using all 10 fingers. So that's a first chord we can make. Let's just go up to the second note, the fourth note, and the sixth note. You could put, if you want little tape or sticky notes with the numbers on them, if that helps you. You want to learn that way, but the more you can be in your head, the better. The more you can not be dependent on a page or on visually seeing anything beside the actual interface in the keyboard, because you're going to see this thing everywhere. This is still for the near future at least the interface to use to make all kinds of cool music. So you could just go through each scale starting your C, play the next, keep going up. Just remember to skip those notes. 5 7 2. And here we get a weird one. So that's just awesome. That's already a lot to digest. Please go ahead and try practicing that. I'm going to come back next time with another lesson on chords and how we can kind of start flipping these around. if you want to start applying this to making music immediately, I'm thinking of starting a little practice series. Right now, the point of these is really just to lay out a kind of abstract understanding for you of what we're doing here, and not really to help you solidify individual um, skills on individual scales, etc. So, if you're interested in that sort of thing, I definitely do private lessons. Go ahead and contact me, leave something in the comments. But also, I will probably be doing some kind of practice session, um, accompanying videos to go with these lessons. But right now, good job with the chords. Try those out. Come back next time, and we're going to start flipping the chords around and trying different stuff. And then we're going to combine chords and scales and see if we can play a song with some chords and a melody. So awesome job. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll be back.